Hi, I've been catching up with some of the major releases of this year, and one of them is Past Lives, Celine Song's highly acclaimed new film. It's the story of a young boy and a young girl growing up together in South Korea many years ago. However, the girl's family has decided that they're going to move to Canada for a better life, and the boy and girl go their separate ways. 12 years later, the girl, now a college student in New York, gets in contact with her old friend, and they renew their friendship. They embark on a long distance affair, relationship rather, and things seem to be going well until eventually they decide that they need to break it off, that she has to devote herself to her studies and her career rather than a long term distance relationship. A further 12 years pass, and our main characters are now completely separate. He is having completed his national service, working successfully in business, while she is a published author and settled down and married to an American living in New York. But this time again, they reacquaint themselves when he comes over for a holiday, and a relationship again of a kind ensues. This film has been very highly acclaimed, and it's difficult to talk about because I feel so much of it is intensely personal to Celine Song, the writer-director. It's very slow, it's very contemplative, it's very focused on the cultural differences between Koreans who have lived in their home country their whole life and those who've emigrated to North America and assimilating the culture. And at one point, she describes him as he's very Korean with regard to the country's more conservative social climate. But because it's so intensely personal and because it's so specific, I found it very hard to engage with. And to be honest, I found it quite boring. Um, I've said before regarding very personal stories that not everything needs to be made into a film. And in this case, I think it's borderline because I can understand the differences here. I understand why this feels like a worthwhile subject because you have the cultural difference and um, you have the long estrangement and the differences in circumstance that arise, and you have fine performances, you have fine direction. There's nothing wrong with it in any way. I mean, I certainly can't criticize any of the production aspects or anything really concrete about it. I just fail to make any kind of connection with the material. Given a lot of the other reviews for the movie, for many other critics, that is not the case. But I can't, in all good conscience, recommend a film about which I felt so little. So even though it's competently made, it's competently produced, competently acted, as I say, there's nothing wrong with it. This is something very specific, and I think you will either connect with it or you won't. And because of my own personal history, because of my own life story, my own archive of experiences, I don't connect with this in the way that I think a lot of other people have. So perhaps in this case, it's worth reading some positive criticism from people who really did appreciate it and see why they liked it and see if it's for you that way. So on this very rare occasion, I'm going to recommend that you try a different critic for your review of this movie.